30 hours.
Right. Well, good morning, we think.
Yes, good morning.
Let's. I don't want to remove it.
Oh,
I just
I thought
started
that
it.
played already.
No.
Oh my god, I'm really sorry. I thought that already played. Anyway.
Well, Razzle Radio got off to a bad start this morning. Breaking eggers, so we'll try all over again. What the hell? At least we're still live. It's just, oh dear. There we go. Another good morning and welcome to the Mutt and Jeff show. Those who aren't familiar with the old cartoons won't know who Mutt and Jeff were. They were you remember Mutt and Jeff?
No, I don't.
Oh, you don't. Right. Well, Mutt and Jeff were a couple of cartoon characters that can never get anything right. So here we are. Actually, not his fault. His bus let him down. As for me, I'm all fingers and thumbs this morning. All fingers and thumbs, all over the place. So you're going to have to put up with, well, actually, what is normally chaos. And our programs are deliberate chaos because what we do is we go on the air live in the White Hart Hotel and we take what comes to us. Okay, we need to look a little bit at the news of the day, but generally speaking, is we often pluck from the corridors people who are coming into the hotel for one reason or are staying at the hotel, and some interesting people we have found. So get used to the fact that nothing is normal on this. You either watch us for 30 seconds and say rubbish, or you watch us all morning and say, I wonder what the hell they're going to do next. But anyway, we're ready to go. The bloke sitting next to me is Max.
Good morning.
Max House. And he is a bright young spark who's what we like about him is he's absolutely opinionated like the rest of us. So he fits in extremely well. And if you really want a comedy hour, tune in on a Wednesday to see him with Stuart Dolby. And the two of them are absolutely hilarious as they lock horns over almost everything.
And we don't agree on that.
Yeah, actually, that people won't remember. In fact, I shall look back and see whether I can find a couple of samples of when Annie Verrill was with us. She and I would lock horns over anything. I can barely say good morning to her without an argument starting. It's a bit like that with these two. Anyway, let's. Oh gosh, let's steady our nerves. Let us go first of all. Now it's joking a bit, so I think that we're going to have a bit of an issue today with the internet again. Have we got the part? There we go. We've got the part. So if you'll put up with us for this morning, we should be okay for the rest of the time. Is the funny thing is, when a computer goes wrong, it goes so wrong. Let's calm our nerves by going down to our version of the Potter's Wheel. There we go. Right, here we are, back again after a little visit to Grange Park, just to settle our nerves this morning. Everything is up in the air and going all over the place. However, let us start with some good news, because the lady football won through after a dramatic match in Brighton, I may say. It was played in Brighton, and they were 1-0 down for much of the game, and then they levelled it in full time. And in injury time, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, right into the back of the net. And it was a 2-1 victory. Fantastic stuff. Talk about nail biting. But that's the good news from the back pages. The other, of course, is that we now have got this is 24 hours old, but we've got a new middle distance champion. We won the gold medal in the Euros. In the 1500 meters, and is Jake, I think Whiteman or something like that, is a new hero. And of course, this time next week, everybody will have his name on the tip of their tongue, and nobody will have to stretch for it. But a relative unknown up until now, except in the athletics world, where of course he was picked for the 1500 meters. Did you know about it?
Never heard of him.
No, quite. So a hero coming out of nowhere. That's terrific. So some good news from the back pages. Oh, now what we've got to do is go to the front pages. God help us, shall we? Oh, perhaps what we should do is throw them all away. What we could have done in the old days is use them for fish and chips. So never mind. Here we go. The Daily Telegraph, Advantage Truss in the race to be Prime Minister. She's coming up fast on Rishi. Now it is down to the two of them to persuade the party faithful who should represent us. We do a little radio show before we go on the air with this television show, and in that I actually said, I wonder what we are looking for. I don't know that really whether the tax cutting thing is necessarily a popular measure. How many people is that going to affect?
I think it's going to be a very popular measure.
You do?
Taxes, yeah.
Right.
I'm hearing...
How much tax do you pay?
Gladly none.
Right. So how much is a tax cut going to mean to you?
A lot, because it means my mum's taxes will be cut and we'll be able to afford food.
Oh, right. Okay. All right. Up the ladder as we go. An awful lot of people are now struggling to pay their bills. Mm-hmm. And a tax cut isn't going to mean that much, because I don't know what people are expecting, but it can't be much more than a penny or tuppence at the very most. I think I've seen a quote of £600 for the year. Is that going to be significant? I don't know.
It will be something. If £600 off for the whole year, that's an extra £600 in your pocket.
Yeah.
And then,
well, what Rishi's argument is that if he cuts taxes now, is what will happen is that £600 will disappear very quickly, because what you do by encouraging people to spend is to stoke inflation. So inflation, which is at a record high, is around 10%, will then continue to go up, and it'll eat up any extras you get. So it depends who you want to believe. The fact is that Rishi didn't cover himself in glory with his two budgets, in my opinion. We actually did analyse them on the days that they were presented in Parliament, and a lot of it was smoke and mirrors, very political budget, which they often are. So anyway, one on one, they are. Now, if you're watching us on Facebook, it may well be that you will find that
then no one's watching us on Facebook right now.
Yeah, right. If you're watching us, you do watch on Facebook, and you're watching us on YouTube, then I'm afraid that you won't see anything, because we're having a fight with Facebook, and as usual, a great big giant relies upon computers. And can the computer react to an individual situation? No, it cannot. is the sooner that actually bugger taxes, if somebody doesn't come to grips with the fact that we're being run by computers and that is what's wrong with the economy and what's wrong with the country. We're being run by computers. Now, I'm not anti-computer, don't misunderstand. What I am is that computers are running us as opposed to us using computers to help us run our businesses and run the country and to run charities for that matter and to run public services. Is we need to use the computers to help us, not let the computers run the whole damn thing, because eventually it starts to tumble apart because there's nobody to fix those things which go wrong. And we don't live in a perfect society, unfortunately. Gosh, Mirador is a perfect television operation until we start out in the morning and the bloody thing won't work. And we have to go and click here and click there. Now, we can have a bit of fun with it because, we're not going to let off a rocket that's going to destroy Moscow. But we really do need to worry about how the computers are running our society. And, has it ever occurred to you why it's press 1, press 2, press 3? It's because there are no humans there. It's the computer that's doing us that. And eventually you get around to down tap 26. And if you go to 0, you can perhaps get through to somebody. But when you don't, you get through to a voice that says you are 27th in the queue. You've only got to wait 3 days and 10 hours at your expense, and you can talk to somebody.
Do you want to know a hack for that? When it comes to robots, if you're on the phone, it says do this and do this. If you just start swearing, it'll pick up that you're swearing, and they'll put you through to a human immediately.
Oh, really?
Yes, that's true.
Well, where are these humans coming from? Nobody's going to work. They're all working from home.
Yeah,
there's nobody on the buses. You come in on the buses, there's nobody on the buses. Nobody's going to work. And when you stand at the bus stop, how many cars go by? Not the tail-to-tail bumper. Is nobody is working. So we haven't got the human resources. Now, that's the sort of thing that leadership can change. And that's what I'm looking for from one of these two, is leadership. Who is showing leadership? Never mind about tax cuts and all the fiddly things that they can or can't do. And what you want to bet is it doesn't matter who gets in. Is the moment that they promise tax cuts and they'll say, "Oh, I didn't realize that this was the situation. I can't do it right now."
Did you see that Rishi Sunak was endorsed by the CCP?
Endorsed by
the CCP.
What was the CCP?
The Chinese Communist Party.
Oh,
I swear to God, I'm 100% serious.
Yeah. Well, you know what happened, don't you? It is because the Chinese have managed to tap the phone at number 10. They've been listening in on the conversations, and the word has been going back to the powers that be. Is hey, if we want some idiots in charge, let's endorse a couple. I bet the Russians are doing the same thing. Oh, that's hilarious. That's absolutely very, very funny. I'm almost inclined to vote for him if that's the case. Well, not that I got a vote, but I thought that I haven't actually seen the clip yet, but hang on. Let's get rid of these things because they'll keep popping up otherwise. I thought that we looking at the situation this morning is that Boris had got it right when he actually sort of said to Rishi, "Right, you got the job. Now you've got this lot to help you, and God help you with this lot." Is because it means that I will be back. and I apparently, according to a poll taken, the BBC quoted, I don't know if it's a BBC poll or not, but according to a poll taken by the BBC, or accepted by the BBC, is that those people who can cast a vote, the members of the Conservative Party, are all saying, well, not saying, but there's a majority that are saying is we want Boris back. So whatever else, he may be a buffoon, he may be indecent in the extreme, But the fact of the matter is, everybody has forgotten is that he was a leader, and that some of the key issues which we've forgotten about now, he did lead us through. So he ate a bit of an ice cake and drank half bottle of champagne when he shouldn't have. I'm not at all sure that those were reasons to topple a prime minister just at the key moment when so many key issues are on the table. All right, he probably couldn't have resolved them, but the one thing that we've forgotten is that he's had 2 years at the job, and experience counts. And that's one of the things that is wrong with our society, is nobody wants experience anymore. They want people in smart suits with bouffant hair, with smooth words, unlike our own very harsh
Boris Johnson.
Sorry?
I think we should. I think we should bring it back.
To be quite honest with you, I would be prepared to back a movement to bring Boris back.
If we have him, if we have Rishi, faster than Boris ever could have been, in my opinion.
Well, we've been saying, and we said all along when the issue first came, is unfortunately the backup team were a bunch of lightweights, and what we've got is a lightweight versus a lightweight. We expect we haven't got anyone else to choose from.
And what did I say as well? That it will be a diverse person.
It'd be what? Sorry,
I said I don't know who's going to be the next prime minister, but it's going to be someone diverse.
Well, if I don't know quite what this diverse words mean, but if you're saying somebody different or from a different background,
yeah.
Actually, everybody has forgotten except me, because I pound on about reform at every level of governance in our society. Everybody has forgotten that just before the last election, Boris made a speech in which he said that our form of governance, right from the top to the bottom, and meaning parish councils, is not fit for purpose. And he's absolutely right. And he made that speech and he said, we've got to reform. But then when he hit the ground running, is the first thing that he got to deliver was Brexit. And then the COVID, and then emergency after emergency. So nobody has got around. It's all been forgotten about reform of our governance system. But we desperately needs reform. But that's a filthy word to any politician because he's got a very comfortable jag, thank you. And who's going to do away with something that is nice and comfortable and keeps them in readies? Who, indeed? Where are we? Oh, I know. We were reviewing the papers. That's right. Yes. Where's the next one?
That was from the Telegraph.
Yes. Liz Truss, the new favourite to become Prime Minister. So the I says that the readings are that she is now in the lead, even though nominally Rishi is the front runner. I mean, that's interesting. But it follows on the theme. Shall we go to the next one? The Financial Times Truss starts as a slim favourite over Sunak in the two-way dash for number 10, and it's got a picture of her and Rishi on the front page, but the same theme that Liz Truss is at least showing some. She's starting on the radar, and that's something that the Sunak campaign and supporters should be taking note of. The Metro, the pennies dropped.
The pennies dropped. That's a good headline.
It's a good headline. They're getting better. The Metro is Penny Mordaunt dropped by the wayside. So she's also ran and not going to be Prime Minister.
Good. She was actually backed by Bill Gates.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Well, I'll be damned. To be quite honest with you, they're all backed by some millionaire or other. Except Rishi has got his own millions, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's almost a billionaire.
Yeah, I wonder if he's paying for his own campaign.
Probably not.
Probably not. No, he's quite. That's how millionaires become millionaires, because they know how to not spend their own money.
Yeah.
Yes, I wish I'd got the secret. The Times Sunak, pick me or lose power. I don't care who it becomes prime minister. The fact of the matter is that is what from in 2 short years came from a position of huge strength, huge popularity. The Conservative Party has managed to rip itself apart and got itself to where I agree with the Times that the Conservatives are now very vulnerable. If Keir Starmer can get rid of some of the extremists in his party, and who will actually back him as leader properly, 100%, then Labour probably stands a good chance. The trouble is that with all the senior parties, is that they've got such extremes within their own ranks, and nobody knows what the hell they stand for anymore, or what you're going to get if you actually elect these people and get them into power.
Have you ever watched the Labour Party conference?
No, I haven't.
They call each other comrades.
Oh, yeah, brother, and all that.
No,
comrade, and, but they also use brother.
Do they?
Yes, at the trade union term as brother. Yeah. I've actually been to a Conservative Party conference. Frankly, is an awful lot of people who are trying to make sure that they get a job in Westminster, mostly. Buttering up whoever is in power. And the other thing is, of course, that there's lots of drinking. Never mind about the half bottle of champagne. There's lots of drinking. All right. Sunak, pick me or lose power. And never a truer word, perhaps, spoken in campaign work. The Daily Mail. Liz Truss, I'll hold an emergency tax cut budget. Wow, that's a brave promise. But what's she got on her apron there?
It's like chains.
Yes, just fashion, right? Very fashionable. I'd say if somebody get hold of that and they'd tug her down the street a few yards. The Mirror. Out of the lying man and into the dyer. I think what they're saying is that they got rid of Boris because on the front page is a picture of Boris leaving the stage, and then a picture of the 2 candidates, and it's saying that you had a lying man, and now what you've got is 2 dire people, and I think they may be reflecting the thoughts of a number of people around the country. Whichever of these 2 becomes prime minister, they have got a tremendous job to do for 2 things. One, to establish leadership, and that they are capable of leadership, and 2, to set an agenda that is going to take on some of the evils that we've got floating around, from war down to whether, in fact, you've got money to pay your heating bill. There is a whole range of challenges waiting for this person, and they had better be ready to come to grips with that. And don't go blaming Boris. That's the simple thing to do. He didn't create the situations that we're in. They have come bounding in because of our international aspects. The fact that we are an international and we're a leading country in the world. The Daily Express, farewell, Boris, a parting shot at Rishi, and a hint, I'll be back. Now,
he actually said that?
Well, he hinted.
Oh,
yes. I actually am not quite sure what he said, but he really did sort of say, because he and Rishi are no friends. They've been at loggerheads for quite some time. Where you and Stuart are at loggerheads. They talk to one another, but they have a go at each other. So Boris, Prime Minister Question Time yesterday, had a final go, and he more or less said, Rishi, I'm not so sure about you, mate, and sort of don't worry, I'm lurking in the background. so that I can take over from you when you falter. He said, all right, love and miss you forever. This is quite a serious one. The Sun, peculiarly, anytime there is anything controversial for which it might get its fingers burned by taking a stance. Actually, oh, good morning. We've got Jane back, and a lovely young lady with her. Sorry, and we missed her smile this morning. Steve was here to actually say hello. Good morning, Jane.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm not going to ask her why she wasn't here. I know she goes to parties late at night, sort of midnight parties.
I think I know why the Sun doesn't really get in controversial issues that much, because the last time they did, they ended up getting sued with the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard thing.
Oh, I mean that's part of being a newspaper is to be sued. I actually think that it's Murdoch playing his own brand of politics. That's my view.
Is he still around?
Oh yeah.
Because
Well, didn't he just get divorced from Jerry Hall? Have I got the wrong one?
I didn't even know if he was alive. I don't know his status of marriage.
Yeah, but even so, his family are still very much in charge of the empire, the Murdoch empire.
Yeah,
I mean that is considerable in the United States. I mean, he owns CNN and.
He owns CNN, and no, he doesn't own CNN. He owns Fox News. He owns
Fox. Yeah, that's right.
The New York Post.
Yeah.
Washington Post. I can't remember. I'll have to have a look.
And I'm not sure whether it's still going, but he also owned the equivalent of Sky for Asia, which is another big chunk in.
Let me look that up now.
That's right. Look up the Murdoch empire. Yeah.
What newspapers are owned by Rupert Murdoch?
Sorry? Oh, right. Okay. He's talking to Siri or Stanley or what's the name of this thing that you speak to on your phone?
Google. I don't have Siri.
No, right. Okay. But Siri or whatever. And it takes you to the page that you want. So we're trying to find out which newspapers, which media actually, because I believe he is still on Sky. He's a considerable player. But the Sun does avoid getting involved in some of these issues. And so it looks at other things. And in this particular case, what it's saying is
okay, so yeah,
Deborah James it was a funeral yesterday, I mean, she wasn't really on my radar, but she was apparently a much loved figure and a blogger of some renown. Right? Okay. What's his answer?
So he owns Fox, 20th Century Fox, Hulu, New York Post, Wall Street Journal, Sky, The Star, the HarperCollins, which is a New Zealand one, the Australian Sun, National Geographic. I did not know that.
Wow, no, I that must have come in a bundle.
The Times and the Daily Mail.
All right, he owns the Daily Mail.
Yeah, well, I think so. Yeah,
wow.
She was always going on about it. Oh, I don't like this. Is
I thought the Daily Mail was owned by the Harmsworth. Still, never mind. We'll get that one sorted. I question that. Look up the ownership of the Daily Mail, and let's clear that up. So I'm very surprised. He may hold a chunk of the stocks. I don't know. Yeah, right. The Star. It's good night from me, and it's good night from him. Now, this is an interesting story because the Star has picked on a report which says that TV is going to be non-existent in 10 years' time. It reports on comments by a Netflix boss predicting that mainstream TV will be dead in 10 years, with the front page showing a television screen covered in static. Now, strangely enough, and quite seriously, we believe that at Mirador. the reason that we're small and only building slowly our viewership, we are, and we're grateful for those people who are loyal, is that it's our belief that mainstream TV is not going to be mainstream TV. It is going to be a network of small local TV operations such as ours. And we are firm in that belief. And it looks, all the evidence that is gathering is that we're right. The format that we have, now that's something else. But the thing is that slowly our format is gaining in popularity. Simply because you simply don't know what the hell's going to happen next. We don't know what's going to happen next. I didn't know that Jane was going to walk in through the door right at that very second and be able to say hello. Jane is able to give me information about the hotel and what's going on and so on and so forth. Is his nibs here walks in a cock-a-hoop because he's got here on time, despite the fact that his bus wasn't there, but he's able to tell us about the transport situation. Is what we can provide with the way that we do it, maybe scattered amongst our natterings, but nonetheless, if you watch us, you get it all, including a go at the government, particularly when it's creating headlines. So, but you watch out for that prediction.
Yeah, well, the Daily Mail is owned by the 4th Viscount Rotherham.
Yeah, so it's Rothermere, or is it?
Rothermere.
Yeah, Rothermere, I think. Yeah, that's right. I don't think that.
Yeah, it doesn't have a first name. This person
doesn't
show.
I don't think that Rupert has got his claws into that yet. But nonetheless. Okay, so that is the newspapers. Now, where are we? It's 8 minutes past 8, and I think that it's time for us to let's well, depending on what we can find, because it's all a jumble and we sort of haven't sorted it out. We should have I saw here. Something that we've been running the last couple of days, like Lewes. Let's play like Lewes, because you're new to Lewes, you come to live here. There are little bits and pieces. This was made 2 or 3 years ago. There's some inaccuracies in it, but still, it gives you an idea of what the town is about. And if you're from outside Lewes, and you want to know who these mad people are broadcasting, it'll give you a background. So here we go with like Lewes. Yes, everything's slow this morning. got to undo this. So, there we go. That's our town. There are a few inaccuracies because that was done a little while ago, but nonetheless, it gives you some idea of the town that we're in. Now, anybody who picks us up on Tweet or LinkedIn or any of the other things is we're having a problem with Facebook at the moment. So you won't find us on Facebook for a day or two. And mostly because of their slack-ass attitude towards anything. Well, once again, they use computers, and it is shameful, absolutely shameful.
They didn't even bother. They didn't even bother responding to us last time. I don't know if they've sent a response this time. But, I mean, how can a multi-trillion-dollar company not be able to send an email back?
Yeah, exactly. So I think today we'll try your thing. Is what we do is we'll swear.
Well, they don't have phone numbers anymore.
No, I know. Nobody has. Nobody ever wants to talk to you. You see, because the computer is busy doing it, and it's outrageous. I think that any company depends upon the computer must take out a license, and it must, like this thing warning that you have is there are no people in this company. You are talking to a computer because it explains a lot. It doesn't solve a lot, but it explains a lot, and it's absolutely crazy, absolutely crackers. But there we go. It's something that we have to put up with. Right now, let's just take a time check because it's 9:16, and we are heading towards another 24-degree day. Pleasant enough out there, a gentle breeze, and all in all, not bad. Now, is my a famous Max Hurd to my left here. I think he's to my left, yes. Although politically he's to my right, has a gizmo, which we hope we can fix today. And that will enable us to have a decent picture. Whether, in fact, we get it a decent picture in time to get it back on Facebook or not, I have no idea. But that's one of the things that we just have to play with and to try to overcome this outrageous, absolutely outrageous way all business treats us. Is you owe me tuppence. My God, the computer kicks in and it hounds you for days and weeks and months for the tuppence. But we've got a problem. Yeah, nothing, absolutely nothing. And that is the big problem of our society and of our community. No wonder we've got raging inflation, because nobody was keeping an eye on everything. The computer was. The rest were doing a 3 or 4 day week. The Bank of England were proud at one stage to say that their people were only working 1 day a week. And look, their job was to keep an eye on inflation.
You know what? Speaking of machines, they have a story here. Tesco, about Tesco's. 200,000 angry customers demand supermarkets stop replacing people with machines.
Oh, wonderful! Where did that report come from?
From I'm not sure what report it came from, but the article is My London, the newspaper.
Right. Well, at long last, somebody is recognizing that we are fed up with being tossed around by computers.
Oh wow! It had 209,000 signatures and it used the hashtag "Bring Back Tesco Staff."
Yes,
that's the hashtag.
Well, I couldn't agree more, and that's true of almost anywhere. I'm not against people having a little card so that they can check out on their own. What I am against them is allowing that to be the sole method. And actually, I like Max, use a bus. And there is a new system now that you can actually put into your phone some sort of payment system. So you tap on the bus thingamajig, and it pays your fare. Do you know where getting on the bus is so difficult? Because if you're behind somebody that's trying to pay on their bloody phone, they don't understand how to do it. The machine never, ever works first time, and the bus driver has to disassemble half the bus just to set it right. Now, this is something that is going to be time-saving. It's going to save us all sorts of things. It doesn't, because people either don't know how to use it or the thing breaks down.
Well, I got the bus for free the other day, actually, because the machine was broken and no one could pay to get on the bus, so everyone was just getting on for free.
Yeah, I've had that too. Mind you, I have a glint in my eye. After 9 o'clock, I get on the bus free anyway. But
I can't believe that your card doesn't work before 9 o'clock. That's so ridiculous.
Oh no, the old age pensioners thing. You mean? Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I
wasn't going to call it that.
It used to work. It used to work at 9 o'clock. And then some idiot down in head office said, "Oh, yeah, we've got all these people, and that the oldies are taking the seats with their free pass." So they bumped it up to 9:30. Now at 9 o'clock, the buses are empty. Everybody's already in their office that's going on it, and those that aren't are wandering minstrels. I mean, once again, we have got idiots in charge of almost everything. Almost everything has got idiots in charge. And not only that, they're opinionated idiots. They know better than the rest of us. Well, watch out for people power, mate, because it is beginning to gather steam. 200 now, how many thousand?
209,000.
209,000 turning on Tesco because they are now relying upon computers.
I don't use Tesco's anymore because their machines instead of people don't even take cash.
It's ridiculous.
So I don't go to Tesco's.
Yeah. It's all out of kilter,
mm-hmm.
And it's all from people who are born into the computer land and have been convinced, brainwashed into thinking that the computers can do everything, when in fact the computers are doing nothing. They really are. They're muddying the waters badly. Yes, they are. Now, I did mention the weather. Never mind the weather, as long as we're together. And we are into 24 degrees today, still pretty healthy. I can see for the moment, if I look out into the high street, that we have got a nice mellow glow over it from the sun.
It's 21 degrees right now.
It's 21 degrees right now. There you are, and it's growing. And a gentle breeze. Watch out for that gentle breeze. It lifted my hat 2 or 3 times yesterday. But Lewes has got twittens, and they actually tend to funnel even a gentle breeze. Righty-ho. Is at 23 minutes past 9. We need to perhaps take a look at let's see what other things we've got going here. To take a shall I would indulge you, shall I, with your Rocky Mountain trip?
Yeah,
right.
We'll
Yes, he says. Yes, he likes the Rocky Mountain trip. Let me give you the background to this. Is a long-time Lewesian and a great supporter who went off to Canada for a while. Rupert Lloyd Thomas. Rupert Lloyd Thomas is a stalwart of rocket radio. But even more so is he is the man who brought back the Firle Hill Climb, hugely successful event in Firle, just outside Lewes, each year in September, I think it comes up. But Rupert decided he from his headquarters on the east coast of Canada that he was going to move to the west, and so he bundled his wife into their smart car. Their tiny little car, and set off the 5,000 miles across Canada. 5,000 miles in a smart car. Yeah.
Have you ever been in a smart car?
No.
They're not exactly the most comfortable car.
I would have thought not. And in fact, we've got a clip somewhere of Rupert going, "Oh no, what have I done?" Because he plotted the whole thing in the Brewer's Arms here before he went and set off on this marvelous adventure. But he did it, and he got to Sydney on the west coast of Canada, and settled there for about a year or 2 years before returning to the UK. He's in Wiltshire at the moment. We can't wait to get him back. So yeah, let us go with the last part of his journey, which is through the Rockies. And here we go.
Hard to be filming in the car here because the road is rough, patched up all over the place, and hard to keep the camera steady. Now that is a rugged mountain range.
The nice thing about being behind big trucks is that that's on it. Back in the big truck, that's
Hi, Jane.
We've seen so many motorhomes, fifth wheels, trailers, campers, more than in other years for a long time. Even now, like I said, all around. Many of them are rental. Actually, this time we've seen a motorhome, a trailer, and a camper truck, but there's so many of them out on the road.
Well, we've hang on. We've gone through the Rockies there, and I've worked in that area. And believe me, when they say they're rugged, they mean rugged. There are no creature comforts at all. And apart from fighting off the bears and other forms of wildlife, it is a tough land, a really tough land. Now, talking about a tough land is let's go to Scotland. Or are we going to Hastings? Are we going to Scotland or Hastings?
Yes, I'm in Bonnie, Scotland.
Right, in Bonnie, Scotland, she is.
Yes.
There we go. Good morning, Jane.
Morning.
Okay, right. First off, tell us what you're doing in Bonnie, Scotland.
Well, I'm at International Summer School up near the Moray Firth, teaching English and helping with some activities as well. So it's pretty full on, pretty busy. Yesterday, because the school is right next to the RAF base, RAF Lossiemouth, and we had to go out yesterday because I had a family and friends day, and it was going to be very noisy. They had the red arrows here, so I've just shared some photos on Facebook of the red arrows going over the school, because literally the RAF base is across the fields. And when the jets are up, we have to stop talking because they are so loud. So we all took off to Inverness with the young students to the cinema, and then last night they had a disco, so we had to help with that. So we've got a lie-in today. We've got breakfast at 10 o'clock. have a rest. So everyone's having a bit of a rest, slow day today. Yeah.
What do you get for breakfast?
Oh, lots. There's loads and loads of lovely food. Lots of breakfast, cereal, fruit, cooked breakfast. Options for vegans, vegetarians, yogurts, porridge,
Wow.
The Scottish porridge. Lots and lots for lunch. And the only thing is the meals are quite close together. So like today, because there's breakfast between 10 and 11, and lunch is at 10 to 1, and dinner is at 20 past 5.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like we're constantly eating. But
what do you do for a midnight snack?
Well, we even get snacks, so we pick up from the refectory. I'm in an all-female boarding house, so there's 10 women in my house here. They're all teaching staff, all from around the world. There's a couple of lovely ladies from South Africa, one from the Cayman Islands who's actually French, but she's teaching Spanish. There's me from Hastings. There's another lady from near Hastings as well, Bexhill. One from Kent. Trying to think where the others. Yeah.
And what are you teaching?
I'm teaching English EAL. So yeah. So
Right. What is the overall course?
Well, it's international summer school, so they have some academic. They're here for 3 or 4 weeks, depending which course. So they have a couple of weeks in the school where they can choose. So they have English language or English literature, Spanish, IT. There's the carpentry workshop. What's it called? Design technology. Then they do all the sporting activities. And then my group next weekend, they go to the West Coast. So they have 3 days on yachts on the West Coast, and they have 3 days in an outdoor pursuit centre. And then they come back for the last weekend when there's the sports day, the swimming gala, and the farewell dinner and prize giving. So they're split into clans, Scottish clans, and they're all competing for points. So on the last Saturday, there's a big trophy up for grabs.
Right. Is when you say trophy, is how are they split into competitive teams?
Well, there's so many, there's 300 students here. So they split into clans. So we've got, in my course, we've got Stuart clan and Campbell. And then within those clans, they're split into colour groups because there's over 100 students. And then they, like in my class, for example, if they give a good, ask them to do presentations. The other day they had to do a task about a presentation on the Olympic Games, invent a place for the Olympic Games for 2032. So I gave some of them a really good clan points so that, they've given a good presentation, and it's the English is quite good.
Right.
Because bearing in mind, some of them are quite young, and it's their it's a second language. So
yeah,
they vary.
And also their first time away from home, presumably.
Yeah, quite a lot of them actually. Yeah, quite a lot. I think some of them. One child's gone home, was homesick. Yeah, they do get very homesick. I spoke to one little boy who's about 10. He said, "Oh, the boy in my room, he's got the light on, and he keeps asking what the time is every hour." But I mean, they get into it, after a few days. Hopefully, they get into the rhythm of it all. It's very tiring because they just go all day. But they're being kept busy.
Now you keep on saying here or where in fact are you? Where is this summer school located?
We're near the Moray Firth near Elgin. Well, actually in Duffus, but it's about a couple of miles from Elgin.
Right. And what about the school? What's the name of the school?
Gordonston.
Oh, you are at Gordonston. That was Prince Charles' school, was it not?
Yeah, Prince Charles came here. Princess Anne's children, Zara and her brother came here. Prince Andrew came here as well, I believe. So I do give the students, a brief history of how it started, Gordonston. It started with Kurt Hahn, who came over from Germany, who was running Salem School, came over here during the Second World War. And so started Gordonston, which was a private home, and had the sports regimes, which were very strict. They had their cold showers. They had their own sport regime, so they had to, I don't know what they had to do, activities, run around the school. And I think it was possibly quite harsh. But Kurt Hahn set up an outdoor pursuit centre. He wanted all the students to learn to swim. And so that's why the outdoor pursuit centre was started, and the sailing activities. So
right.
Yeah.
Well, a very interesting assignment, sounds to me.
Yeah, it's lovely. Right. Well, we're missing the heat wave as well. Is it terribly, terribly hot still?
Well, it has been, yeah. Today is only going to be 24, right?
24 is the highest we get today. but it was 39 on Tuesday.
Yeah, it must have been unbearable, was it?
I mean, it was very bearable for me. I had a lot of fun down at the beach.
Right. Now, we promised Jane that we'll keep off politics, but I'm going to now hand you over to Max for a minute or two, because he asks the most searching questions because he's young.
I know, and I haven't seen the news. I've locked in a school. I haven't heard much recently, but so.
Well, you are missing the biggest pantomime that this country has ever had, and it's done without rehearsal.
Yeah, now it's only down to two candidates in the MP race. Rishi Sunak and Liz Truss are the only two.
Oh, Liz Truss, because I thought Liz Truss had dropped out, but obviously not. So
no, that was Penny Mordaunt yesterday.
Right. Okay. So is it going to go to a vote, or how they're going to decide?
Yeah, it'll be the MPs voting.
No, it's not. No, it's the members of the Conservative Party.
Oh, members of the Conservative Party.
No, their own party. Yeah.
And it's, what was it? A poll by the BBC? You said majority want Boris back.
Majority said bring back Boris.
Really?
We don't have very inspiring candidates. I'm afraid.
Yes.
But the strange thing is, I think it shows to me the paucity of British politics at the moment is there is nobody really to replace Boris. No matter what you think of him, there's nobody really to replace him as a leader, if you want to put it that way. There's nobody in the Labour Party to do the same thing. And the Liberals, who should be dancing up and down right now, have been particularly silent. And I think it's a sad comment on our political system. But I know that you don't like talking politics. So talk to young Max about some of the things that are going to happen in the summer.
I don't like talking about politics, but I haven't seen the news. I've been, ensconced in the school for a week, so I haven't really seen anything. But how is Boris? What is Boris making any comments at the moment?
No,
is he reacting?
He's been very silent.
Although yesterday, at Prime Minister's question time, he made what would be his final speech, and he had to go at Rishi and sort of said, "There, pal, you've got it. Now see what you can make of it, because I don't have much faith that you can handle it." And the other thing is, he made a veiled reference to when you buggered it up, watch out because I'll be back.
Who do you think will win tomorrow? I'd say Rishi, but I don't. What do you think?
Well, I think really it's because it is down to the membership that I'm not quite sure what is made up of the Conservative party membership anymore. At one time, they used to say it was the blue rinse ladies, but I think that the politics has shifted, so that membership in the various parties is quite different now to the way it was even sort of 15 or 20 years ago. However, I mean, people tend to join a party because of its political philosophy, and conservatism is still very popular in Britain. We are a much laissez-faire society. We say to government, don't interfere with our lives. Let us get on with it. I think that it depends on, in the debates where they've been mudslinging, they've tried to paint Rishi Sunak as sort of the left-wing candidate. We will do all sorts of things for you, as opposed to we'll make it possible for you to do all sorts of things. So I think that Liz Truss stands a good chance.
Yeah.
Is there someone you would prefer to see between the two?
Me?
Yeah.
I probably Rishi Sunak, because
really?
but I don't know too much about Liz Truss really. She's always she's there in the background. I mean, I'm not averse to a female prime minister. I mean, we've had a couple. I think Rishi Sunak has a fair amount of integrity, and I think he'd be a good person, and he's a money man as well. So
Well, yeah, he's a billionaire.
Yeah, he's actually sort of very wealthy with his wife himself, but in terms of money man, I mean, like, he might be good for financial policies and be fairly wise about what's happening with money and taxes, etc.
We saw this story recently. I found it. Rishi Sunak was endorsed by the CCP. Do you know who that is?
No.
The Chinese Communist Party.
Oh, really?
That's Xi Jinping's party, yeah. The party that controls China. Endorsed Rishi Sunak.
Okay, I've just changed my mind.
Yeah, I thought that was a little bit weird as well. I mean, I didn't really like him in the first place, but Liz Truss is much better.
Why do you think Liz Truss?
Because it's not Rishi Sunak. She's been good on a couple issues that I like. She can define what the word woman is. Rishi Sunak just seems, I don't know, he comes from, I mean, all politicians come from wealth, but that's excessive. He's
extremely well. I mean, he doesn't need to work, does he? Why does he need to chase that job? I mean, like I say, they're wealthy in their own right. So, yeah, maybe Liz Truss would be a bit of fresh air because she's slightly in the background, but
yeah.
Well,
for girl power.
I personally really wanted to see Kemi Badenoch as Prime Minister. She was, in my opinion, the only one of the options that could actually think for herself.
I only saw very briefly when there were 5 of them where they were being sort of interviewed, and how the others dropped out. I totally missed all this up here, but how have they got down to those 2? Why have the others been sort of dropped out? Have they been voted out by the Conservative Party?
Well, they've been forced out, haven't they? Really, they just didn't get enough votes.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Whoever has the least amount of votes goes.
Right.
So you're now down to the final 2, and it's up to the party members.
When did they
choose? So we're all going to know tomorrow. Gosh,
I'm not quite sure when the vote takes place amongst the party faithful, but it'll be within the next couple of days, I think.
Wow.
Apparently, the new Prime Minister needs to be installed by September the 9th, I think it is.
The 5th.
Yeah.
So do you think Boris will still be there pulling strings, or the rest of the party will not really take much notice of him and think, well...
I'd actually put a bet on it. People like Boris don't give up. They go away, they lick their wounds, and then they try to work out a strategy for a comeback.
I always thought William Hague would have another go. I mean, because he wasn't.
Yeah, the thing with William Hague, I think now is if you're old, and of course William Hague is in political terms old. I don't know how old he is now, but have a look, will you? See how old William Hague is. But you've got to be in forefront politics, and of course he's been sidelined by I think both Theresa May and Boris. So he's been out of the headlines, and so you talk to a lot of voters, and they'll say William who. And that's a pity because he's a very clever bloke.
Yeah, I kind of quite liked him. He had quite a short stint, didn't he?
Yes.
Oh, he's only 61 years old.
Oh, 61. Yeah.
Yeah. So not.
No, not over the hill by any means. I'm the only one that's over the hill.
Yeah, I don't know how old's Boris. I don't know. I mean, he must be in his 50s.
Yeah, mid-50s.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
Well, I don't understand. We usually elect fairly young people, but I don't get when America elects people into office who are 80. It just doesn't make sense to me. Not that I don't think an 80-year-old could do the job. I think it's possible, but I just don't think it's a very good
It's the
idea.
American political system and the way that they choose their candidates. I mean, there is no choice really. It's the party machine chooses them.
I think older people, you've got more experience. No disrespect to young people, but I think you've had a career. A lot of people had really good careers and have more knowledge. But You
much
haven't
as
really
he
got
was
the
sneered
energy
at
of
the
youth,
time, but Ronald Reagan, of course,
on your side particularly,
was
but-
in his 60s or 70s when he came to power, and of course history is proving that the pundits who made him an object of fun were right out on left wing, that left limb, because he's now in assessment turning out to be one of the better presidents that the United States ever had. So you can never tell. I'm not sure whether we are always looking for the wrong things. The big problem with politics in the States, in my opinion, is that their candidates are treated like film stars. And of course, a lot of people in Hollywood who are just making a blockbuster film, in my opinion, does not prepare you for being president. But they either have a big say or they tilt their hat in the ring anyway. Yeah, I broke into your conversation to have my 10 pennies worth, my
That's
2
fine.
pennies worth. Right, where you go?
Well, I don't know. UK politics isn't looking very hopeful.
No. Actually, Max looks at the insides of the paper while I'm ranting on about the headlines. So, have you found any stories that are of interest in the interior of the?
Yeah, I did find some. Apparently, this is random, but apparently the heat wave is pushing up the prices of chips. Say, farmers.
Are we running out of potatoes? That's the question.
Yeah, what's the reason for that?
Everyone's on the beach. Is that why? Having fish and chips, or
Yeah, I think so.
is there a big rush for oil?
Oh, due to high temperatures, they ravaged the crops.
Ah,
Really?
so the heat has had a bad effect on potato crop.
It killed the plants. Yeah.
Oh dear.
Oh yes, of course.
Because actually, to me, the potato is the most versatile vegetable that you can have. I mean, there are so many different ways of having it. Right from chips down to sort of.
It was the English who started eating potatoes. The French used to feed them to their pigs, and it was the English who started boiling them because they were inedible, obviously raw.
Right.
And we're the ones who started boiling them and mashing them and doing whatever. Yeah.
Right. Because actually, the French do treat potatoes in a very different way to us. The pomme de terre, yes. Oh gosh, yes. You walk into a French restaurant and ask for boiled potatoes, and the waiters would stare at you in a very peculiar way. They have some very innovative ways of using the potato too.
So how much have chips gone up to? What's the price? Does it say how much they are? Like a bag of, how much is? I know I bought a bag of chips. We walked to Hopeman Bay the other day. We missed the bus and it's 3 miles. And the lady I was with said, "Should we get a bag of chips to walk back to help our journey?" And they were £1.80 for a little box, a small portion of chips. So I don't know if that's cheap compared to.
Yeah, I can remember as a very young boy when I was a boy, but we would do the same thing. You missed the bus coming from the cinema. In those days, you either had a penny's worth, which you got in old newspapers, or if you were really flush, you paid threepence, and there you got a bag of chips to die for. Yeah, price has gone up a bit.
Yeah,
it doesn't say by how much. It just says it's rising.
I guess the last few days it's probably going to affect quite a few crops because the rush to try and keep plants watered. Everything's probably frazzled, is it now? A bit frazzled.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting how we casually talk about things because, of course, the price of water has gone up. The water service. So that's bound also to reflect upon some of the foodstuffs we get, particularly those that you don't do at home. So certainly the price of chips because of the price price of water must have gone up.
Mm.
Yeah.
Availability.
Actually, I'll take a look into that because we've got 2 or 3 really decent chip shops in Lewes, and I'll for research purposes only, you understand.
Yes.
I can drop by today and just.
They generally do a couple of different sizes, don't they? Small, medium, or large, or something. Portions, I mean, not so portions. Yeah, I think it was 180, 220, 250, or something. So we went for the small.
Get any price, any size. But if there is anything that seems sacrosanct, it's you still see people walking along the streets eating chips out of a bag. And
they smell so good. I think the minute you smell them with the vinegar, you think, "Oh, I could do with a bag of chips."
Yeah,
they would smell good.
The strange thing is that we wouldn't be seen dead eating any other food in the street, but chips, it's okay.
I think and on the coast, on the coastal towns as well, chips. Like in Hastings or anywhere, there's fish and chip shops, aren't there? Dotted everywhere.
Yeah. Oh well, in Hastings you've got lots of fish and chip shops, haven't you?
Yeah.
But you are a slightly bigger community than us. What's the population of?
It's about when I moved there 18 years ago, it was 80,000, but I think it's slightly higher now. It's about 95,000.
Oh yeah.
No, really?
That's quite big.
Yeah,
I thought it was like not that bad. I thought it was like 40,000 people, maybe.
Pardon? Thought it was what?
I thought it would have only been like 40,000 people.
No, it's quite big.
It was small.
No, it's over. Probably up over 90 now, I'd imagine.
All right. How many do you have to apply for being a city?
You can't.
Well, they can't, but they did. But Hastings did apply for. They applied. They have got music city status. I mean, Brighton's became a city, didn't it? But I think we're not after city status, but we've got music city status because of like Liverpool, because of all the live music and live events in Hastings. I mean, there's a lot, because I missed Pirate Day last weekend, so I was a bit gutted about that. There's loads of amazing pirates on social media.
Pirate Day! You weren't here last week when Jane explained what Pirate Day was about. That is great fun. Yeah. How many? About 90,000 people or something dressed up as pirates.
Well, we did, a few years ago, they challenged, the Guinness Book of Records. We were challenging Penzance to get 50,000 pirates on the beach. So I did participate in that. So they had places sectioned off on the beach. So they were counting as people went into the fenced off areas. So we did beat, we are the champions at the moment in Guinness Book of Records for the most pirates in a town. And then they got the people to hold black squares of paper and hold them up, and they had them as a pirate ship on the beach. So, and then they did, like they had what's the camera that goes up in the sky? What are they called? The little. So they filmed them on the beach. You could see this big pirate ship of people. But I did look at some of the social media stuff. There were pirate bands on the beach on Saturday. There was stuff on the pier. There were some most amazing costumes. There's a guy who's like a Johnny Depp lookalike that parades around and all the kids follow him. So, a bit of a shame to miss Pirate Day. So next year, Max, put it in your diary.
Yeah, I won't come as a pirate, though. I'll come as Where's Waldo.
Oh. It is the funniest thing, I think, is people getting off the trains. You think, I was at the other lady here who lives in Bexhill, said the first time she saw it, what's going on? It's like pirates.
Imagine not knowing what's happening.
Yeah, because of course we've got the tunnels in Hastings on the hill under the East Hill. There are still the tunnels from when the the smugglers used to pull the ships in with the lights and steal the stuff from the ships. So we've got all the tunnels still that go into some people's back gardens. So we are a smuggling town. We are a pirate town.
Do I sense a little note of homesickness there?
Well, it's funny actually you say that, because I think coming away for 4 weeks and you have your life ticking along, and then to come out of it for 4 weeks. Yeah, I do a bit. They just asked me to do a program on Carnival FM. So the Carnival, Hastings Carnival, last week of July. So that we do the radio Carnival FM to sort of to tell everyone what events are going on, and we get bands in. They asked me to do a program. So I can't do it because it's on until the 7th of August, and I go home on the 8th. So I'm a bit gutted.
Oh, dear.
Never mind. Can't do everything. Can't be everywhere.
No, you can't. But the nice thing is it's all alive and well. It's alive and kicking. That's the main thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's great that the radio started again because, I mean, or even at the carnival. It's sort of, they did a few events last year, but they didn't, So it's sort of back on track, which is really great because it's quite a good fun in the old town of Hastings. Quite a good, lots of events. Yeah, so it's good.
I mean, not being unkind, but my impression, say 10 years ago, of Hastings was that it was a fading seaside town where seaside towns were not particularly popular anymore, and that there wasn't much going on there. But now that you've come back with a bang, there are all sorts of things going
I think it goes in waves, doesn't it? Like, so now because of COVID, a lot of people who are working in London from home can now work from home. So that's and the wealth of, say, selling a property in London and coming to any coastal town, actually, that helps. I mean, I think the only thing is that they're in danger of where the old town was a fishing community. You're going to have these people buying the houses for second homes, and that could in time change the dynamics where the old town of Hastings becomes, a lot of empty or holiday homes. So that could creep in over time, I think, really. But, the prices have gone really high. Yeah, and you're right. When I moved there in the old town, it's all little bric-a-brac shops and little tea shops, But now there's nice cafes and nice restaurants and bars, and it's changing,
Yes, indeed.
With what we were talking about with the cities earlier, you said, has Hastings applied for a city status?
Yeah.
No, you can't apply for a city status. No one can. Brighton technically isn't a city.
No, it isn't a city. But
to be a city in this country, you have to have a cathedral in it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you do. But I think for some reason, Brighton did. Hastings haven't applied for city status. They have applied for music city status as a music city. So it's probably more a term than literal. It's not literally a music because of the amount of music that's going on there. But I don't know why did Brighton?
I don't think they did. I just think they started calling it a city because of the population size.
Oh, really? Because the size, yeah. I have to look that one up because when you come in, you're right. With the fact you have to have a cathedral.
In this country that are smaller than Brighton because they have cathedrals. Sorry, I cut you off. What were you about to say?
Yeah, no, that's right. I mean, you have to have a cathedral. The cities have the cathedrals, don't they? So Brighton doesn't have a cathedral. Yeah. I have to look that one up.
I grew up about 5 miles from Lichfield, which of course has got city status because it's got a cathedral. But it also is said to be the very smallest city anywhere in the United Kingdom.
Yeah, Lichfield's actually got 2 cathedrals as well. I've been to Lichfield. It's actually got 2 cathedrals, which is quite unusual. Was that thanks to William the Conqueror? Because he built lots of cathedrals, didn't he?
Well, actually, I'm not absolutely sure because Tamworth is not very far away. And it was the capital of the Mercian kings before the Normans. And I think that the church in Tamworth is Saxon. So, what's your
Lichfield population is 33,000.
33,000. So it's a city of 33,000. Yeah, only double the size of Lewes.
So who built the cathedrals in Lichfield then? Who built the cathedrals?
Give me a minute.
I mean, yesterday I did about the Norman invasion and the William the Conqueror because he thanks to him, like through Britain and Europe, there's a lot. Like Rouen, he built 2 cathedrals in Rouen, one for himself, one for Queen Mathilde, his wife, to say sorry to God for raping and pillaging all the way through Europe.
I remember one of the things that Lichfield had, which it still does apparently, and that is something called a bower. And it was a sort of a market day celebration in which everybody went and poured into the streets and, whoop-de-doo and drank lots and so on. And they still do. And I think that they still pour into the streets, and I think they drink lots. It's quite an occasion, a bit like your Pirates' Day. Here, Mr. Know-it-all here has.
King Wolfhart. How do you say that? WULF.
Wolf. I can't quite.
So was that even before?
King Wolfhere.
Wolfhere.
Of Mercia. Yeah, I think he was a Saxon king. So the history of that area goes back to Saxon times. Yeah.
And then
so before 1066, before.
Yeah. I mean, actually, you'll be familiar with Firle, and the church in Firle, the village of Firle, is a Saxon church. It was there before the Normans.
Wow, amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. And in fact, I think there are the other little villages around Lewes. Now their names are going to escape me, but I think there are 2 which have churches which are Anglo-Saxon, and they are particularly noted for being very narrow, long, and quite severe. Really, there isn't a great deal of decoration, but certainly there's one in close to Swanborough, Iford, the little village of Iford. They got a very, very good example of a Saxon church. So, in fact, Christianity, probably because of the Romans, was reasonably well established in Britain prior to the Normans arriving.
Yeah.
So there.
So I was just going to say your screen isn't very clear, so I don't know.
It's not.
No, we actually bought this today.
About the internet.
Yeah.
We have a so we're clearing that quality.
Yeah. We don't quite understand why it goes like that and then back out again, and we can only identify it as the strength of the Wi-Fi.
It is.
Yeah,
and of course we run off the hotel's Wi-Fi, but we're in one room and the Wi-Fi is in another. Because it's a 500-year-old hotel, the walls are so thick. Actually, this is one of the coolest places in Britain right now. But the trouble is that it stops the rays, the radioactive thingamajiggies. So we're trying to overcome that, and we have apologized to many people for being that fuzziness. But we hope that this little box here will fix it.
Good, yeah.
So we're crossing our fingers.
Anyway, I have to go and put my teaching.
Right, now what are you going to choose for breakfast?
Well, first of all, I'm going to grab a coffee downstairs because we've got a kitchen here, and then I don't know. I mean, I do keep going for the porridge. I've got to say, you've got to have porridge in Scotland, haven't you? So,
absolutely, yeah.
Some porridge.
And in the evening, do you have chatties and neeps?
Yeah. We do have haggis on the last night for the prize giving dinner.
Wonderful!
They do pipe in the haggis, yeah. So I'll see you next Thursday, and have a great day. Nice to meet you.
All right, Jane, thank you for being with us and making your usual bubbly contribution. We really have got a very nice team of ladies now. Suzanne Mouchot comes on regularly from New York on a Monday and is full of beans and life the way you are. You are now on a Thursday. Melissa Conti is on a Friday. And I'm not quite sure what day is Sarah Fitch Hayes coming on.
Wednesday, possibly.
On a Wednesday. I don't know whether you know Sarah or saw her in our last bout. She does the art for us. But she is as bubbly as the other four. We've got four bubbly ladies.
Maybe we should go for Prime Minister then.
Bubbly lady. Oh, I know. Actually, when you come into the White Hart Hotel in the morning, we are greeted by the loveliest people. The members of staff are outstanding, and Shannon, who is not on this week, has agreed to do a little program for us. So there we've got a full house now. We've got a full pack. 5 bubbly ladies. We're going to have to promote you. The 5 ladies of Mirador. Great stuff.
I'll pop over and see you when I come back.
All right.
One day.
Go and have your porridge.
Yes, thank you.
And have your whiskey with your taffy and neeps and haggis.
Yes.
But we'll see you next Thursday, I hope.
Yes, I'll be here next Thursday, yeah.
Wonderful.
Okay. Have a good day.
Thanks, Jane. Nice to meet you. Jane Watkins reporting in from Gordonston, the wonderful school Gordonston. So there we are. It's now back to you and I. Where are we? Goodness gracious me! It's what is the time? It's 11 minutes past 10. Where does the time go to? We better break this up with a video, I think, haven't we? We've been talking for quite a long time. Let's see if what should we go? Is like Lewes we played, my movie, The Rocky Mountains we played. Shall we? We did, I think, first program part 1 yesterday or the day before. Shall we try first program part 2 and see what it throws up? Because it's a good look back into the archives.
Yeah.
Right. You stop smiling.
Sorry.
Got to make him smile. He's got a lovely smile. Look at that, beatific. It's very slow this morning. All the system is very slow. We click and it does not deliver straight away. There's been a few new additions to the town over the summer. Whole raft of new eating and sleeping places cropped up in Lewes over the summer. Most of them were in cliffs, but Cote is at the top of the town on the high street. So far, I've only been in for a cup of coffee, but they've been very welcoming, and I suppose that it looks as if it'll do very well. Give it a try. Then there's Aqua at the bottom of the town, attached to the Premier Inn, also new. I've been in there as well, and they were equally as welcoming, and didn't mind that I just popped in for a cup of coffee and not a full meal. But Fuego is something else. I've only looked in through the front door. It's a new concept, of course, of cafe bar. Not new in the continent, I suppose, but not terribly frequent over here. And I haven't been in there because I'm a bit afraid I might go for the bar rather than the coffee. But one day I'll give it a chance. Anyway, some places new in Lewes over the summer and places for you to try.
I'm here in the village of Charleston, a charming, picturesque British village with a population of 500.
That's not Charleston, Keith. This is Charleston, South Carolina. A charming, picturesque village with a population of 120,000 in the United States.
What about this town, Boston? 120 miles north of London in England. Population, 35,000.
That's not Boston. This is the real Boston. Boston, Massachusetts, population 4 million.
What about this lovely little city, York? I suppose you Yankees have one of those too.
Yes, we do. Welcome to the new and improved York.
Now here's one you can't beat, London. That's London in England. Population, 8 million.
Okay, I'll give you that one.
Join us for a journey to different cities with the same name.
A new show comparing big American cities with the small British and European towns that share the same name.
We never should have let you win that little war, Melissa.
Actually, Keith, we beat you at 2 little wars.
What's in a name?
Coming soon to public television.
Little devil on my shoulder, telling me to hold on, telling me to go strong. The decisions that I'm going on, late nights, bright lights, wanna see the city tonight. Maybe I'll do it twice. I say fuck it tonight. That's right, little devil. Never seems to keep it on the level. Don't care if I'm going to hell, no. I'm gonna do the little devil's I'm gonna do the little devil's deeds. Okay, bad pain. I can't stop. No way. Gonna check in. Really check out as soon as I feel okay. Late nights, bright lights. Wanna see the city tonight. Maybe I'll do it twice. Maybe I'll say fuck it tonight. Yeah, that's right. Little devil never wants to keep it on level. Don't care if I'm going to hell. No. I'm gonna do the little devil's deeds. Oh, 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 oh.
Okay,
Whoa,
so look at me.
do the little devil's deeds. Oh,
Okay, back again.
oh, oh, oh.
Good.
All right.
Keep going. Well, the thing is, I mean, you see it on television, they look at the camera and they look very funny.
This was what the prison looked like when the British Admiralty bought it to house prisoners of war.
So they bought the prison and they made many adaptations to it. One of them, interestingly, they took the doors off the cells.
Good for freedom of movement, but not so good for privacy. The doors survive in the local museum, all that remains of the prison's interior. The prisoners were separated. The enlisted men, mostly Finns, Swedes and a few Ireland Islanders, were put into the prison, 3 to a cell. But it was a different situation for the Russian officers.
The officers very different case. They were billeted out amongst the gentry families of the town and surrounding areas, not just Lewes. They had freedom of movement, they had freedom of association, and they generally joined in, if you like, middle to gentry class society. So we have an account, for example, of the officers being very popular dancing partners at local balls because they could waltz so much better than Englishmen. There we go.
Not all the Russians lost themselves in the pleasures of the waltz. Many, like Georg.
He sat on the bank while the river still chattered onto him, a babbling procession of the best stories in the world. That was the excitement that Mole experienced in the story Wind in the Willows. And indeed, rivers large and small everywhere all have many stories to tell. The River Ouse that flows through Lewes is no different. In fact, for much of the town's history, it has played an important part. Today, the river carries nothing but pleasure craft. But for a long time, it was a busy, bustling port. About a mile upstream from here is the village of Hamsey. It sits on a triangle of land which splits the river as it curves down towards the town. Hamsey is barely a village today. A few houses with the 13th century church standing in splendid isolation. But Hamsey was a Saxon port in the pre-Norman era. Historians estimate that over 1,000 people lived here, populating a port that saw ships sail up the Ouse to trade goods. There is no doubt that the Normans had a bit to do with its demise. The area was handed over to a Norman lord. But the community was attacked by an enemy it couldn't stop. An army of rats, which disembarked from one of the visiting ships, went ashore and infected the village with bubonic plague, the Black Death. Gardens, very soothing, and Lewes has lots of them.
Unmute.
There we go. We're back.
We're back. With lips moving and sound coming out. There are a number of things that, for instance, the restaurant Aqua does not exist anymore. And one or two other little things that are anomalous in that. But generally speaking, those series gives you a good idea of what Lewes is about, what's here, and what we have to offer. Now, it is 10:26, and as Jane said, picture is a little fuzzy this morning. It has been on and off. We'll do a check now. What we may do is we may actually call the halt at about 11:15 in about 15 minutes time, so that our famous engineer here can get on the job and try and fix it. We running even a small television station calls for all sorts of activities behind the scenes, and we sometimes have to get down to that as well. But let's just recap what's happening on the world scene. And while I'm just going through the newspaper headlines, will you gather any inside stories that you've got? And also, perhaps what we'll do is if you could just check on the latest news to see if anything has happened between now and when we actually came on the air this morning. So if you just do a latest news check.
I found this on the inside of the paper. The headline here is, that's more like British summer. Apparently there was a massive thunderstorm. That's an amazing photo, by the way. That's lightning striking the ocean. That's a pretty impressive photo.
And actually, we do have a weather warning out tomorrow for this part of the world that we might get thunderstorms tomorrow.
Nice.
You still have to be modestly careful about thunderstorms. People do get struck with lightning, and lightning shows no.
I think it's very rare, though, isn't it?
Rare. I mean, rare unless it happens to you, and it does happen to people who sort of manage to get themselves stranded in an open field and that sort of thing, where they are the lightning's a point of contact. That they don't. The human body does not act as an electricity conductor terribly well. Indeed, it does not. Okay, so the news headlines are, or at least the news pages, are all about, with one exception, about Rishi Sunak and Liza Truss.
Liz Truss.
Liz Truss, yes.
Liza Truss, no.
And the fact that they are neck and neck to become the next prime minister. They're going on the polls taken amongst Conservative Party members, who are the next batch to vote, because it's now down to a two-horse race. It's the Truss versus Sunak. So that's something that we now have to put in the hands of the gods. But most of the newspapers ran that on the front page. There were two exceptions. One is the Sun, that concentrated on the death of the lady blogger who won the hearts of the nation and who raised millions for cancer research before she succumbed, and she was buried yesterday. So that's the front page of the Mirror, and the dear old Star, which always got to bring a smile to your face. And I can't remember what the Star headline was, but it showed its usual irreverence and took a pot shot at the establishment. Then the weather, which is going to be 24 degrees today, Max just pointed out 10 minutes ago it was 21, so it's probably climbed to 22 now.
It's 24.
Oh, it is absolutely 24. It's rising very quickly. So it's at full bore now. So be careful. Be very careful when you go out. There's a slight breeze.
24 isn't too bad.
No, it's not too bad. But the breeze can be a danger because the breeze, wind can affect the temperature enormously. My wife was born and raised on the Canadian prairies for about the first 5 or 6 years of her life. And she can remember where the temperature plunged to below 25, 30 degrees. That's minus. But the temperature whipped up by the wind brought it down to minus 60. So the wind has that effect. The other thing is that
Canada.
Sorry, yeah, it's in Canada. But the wind has an effect anywhere. You can wander around the streets sleeveless and not realize that the rays of the sun are burning you because the wind is cooling it down, an immediate effect. So be careful of that. Right. You got anything else from the inside pages?
Yeah. So I saw this. Briefly mentioned it whilst we're in the break. But this is a story from the Sun. I let my 15-year-old daughter get a tattoo, and I don't care what other people say about it. I think that's absolutely ridiculous and abhorrent.
Well, the thing is, that one of the things that because it's a big fad at the moment, there aren't too many people that are getting the tattoo now that have aged.
Well,
but the point really is made is that our skin ages along with our bodies. So what's that going to do to what some may consider to be I don't find tattoos at all.
no, I'll never get one.
That's me.
Have you ever seen old people with tattoos?
Not really. Although I have to say that you had somebody who you enjoyed as a guest a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. But yeah, so I let my 15-year-old. And the thing is, I know people who are 16 who have got tattoos and their parents have paid for it. I'm like, okay, that's a little bit weird. But you're from a terrible, it's not a great family, so whatever, I suppose. But this seems like a very normal, run-of-the-mill family.
Yeah.
They don't seem like the type where they would let their kid get a tattoo. They seem like a regular.
Yes, I agree. I agree. But perhaps what is yesterday's normal or abnormal is becoming normal today, and that I do now notice far more people have tattoos. I don't think it's my awareness factor. I think that it's true that people are getting tattoos. I personally don't find it at all pretty.
No.
I don't care what the design. But then that's just me. I'm a Luddite. But wouldn't we be worse off if we didn't have Luddites? You need a couple of good old Luddites in the ranks just to keep you on the straight and narrow, and not to go too fast too soon. So there you go. Luddites, be aware. Your services are required to calm it down. Okay. So anything else out of the center pages?
Yeah, I found this from this sports story, which I don't particularly read, but it's from Sports Illustrated, which is very reliable, one of the biggest sports outlets there is. Ex-boxing champion Mike Tyson believes he'll die very soon, which is a shame, because I am very much a big fan of Mike Tyson. He has a very good show on the internet, which I watch. He's a funny guy.
Right. Well, what's his problem? What's he likely to die of?
This is the thing. It's just he hasn't really explained it. He's just saying that we're all going to die one day, but I think I'm going to die very soon.
Right. How old is he?
He's only... Oh, he's 50... Oh, my God. I thought he was a lot older than that. He's only 56.
All right.
But maybe he said that and isn't telling anyone what's really going on. Maybe he has cancer. A very good comedian I love, Norm Macdonald, had cancer for 10 years and didn't tell anyone. And then everyone was very shocked when he died because he thought it'd be funny not to tell anyone he had cancer.
Yeah.
And it kind of was.
Yeah, I mean, actually, there are different ways of handling disease with the realization you've got it. Mine is to laugh at it and to joke about it. People like Neil Diamond kept it a secret for 2 years. I've never quite understood why, but a lot of people do.
Parkinson's as well.
Yes, it's Parkinson's.
That seems like a weird disease to keep secret because it's a very not normal. It's relatively normal. A lot of older people get it. It's just a fact of life.
Yeah. Well, it's I mean, it is a disease that slowly gets to you. I mean, I make no bones about the fact that I'm having a little bit of trouble walking at the moment, any distances anyway. And I'm doing the famous old man's shuffle, whereas even a year or 2 years ago, I could have still dashed out of this building and around. But I've got it, and there's no sense in me pretending that I haven't. Or feeling sorry for myself because I have. I have to handle it, and my way of handling it is to say to people, "Oh, I've got Parkinson's," and they look at me and I say, "No, my hand is still steady enough to get the wine out of the glass and down my gullet." I'm happy to say, but I have had experience with the power of positive thinking. I think you're a fan of the power of positive thinking as well, aren't you? Yeah. 2 or 3 years ago, a young lady in Lewes had her father visit from New Zealand, and he had Parkinson's, and it shocked and frightened the hell out of him. And she'd actually heard me saying in the local coffee shop, to Parkinson's, bugger off. And she said, would I mind having a coffee with her father? Well, I got to know the bloke quite well. I quite liked him. But when he came, he demonstrated his Parkinson's, and he said, there. See, I've got the tremors. I can't even put that finger together. So I went the positive thought. We had coffee from time to time, and I talked the thing up. And we even had, the day before he left, we had a little farewell drinking symposium. Are you aware of symposium? No, it's a nice little wine shop, and most people, it's tucked away, so a lot of people don't know about it. But it's a lovely little wine shop. The boys certainly know their wines. You can go in and you can buy a glass of wine. You can get a sandwich there in very, very nice circumstances. But anyway, we had his little going away party there with those people that he knew and had got to know here in Lewes. And he saved it for the very last. And he said, right, Keith, I just wanted you to know here is my hand. And he clamped his hands together. And in the month that he'd been here and we'd indulged in a little positive thinking, he had managed to at least start on some sort of resuscitation. Because 9 times out of 10, it is fear of the disease that you've got that debilitates you. And I understand fear for disease can strike very hard. As I was lucky, I just seem to be of the temperament that says, hey ho, I've got it, so what the hell do you do? And I've always taken a very positive stance about my Parkinson's. Other people haven't, by the way, is if you spill a glass of wine on somebody, they don't want to know that you've got Parkinson's. But unfortunately, it is affecting now my walking a bit, and I have to take that into account. But I forgot how we started this. You found a little story about Mike Tyson. Yeah, Mike Tyson. Yeah, he made a statement about whether you'll die or not.
I hope he doesn't die soon, because I quite like him. I've never really watched his boxing, but he has he does a lot of good shows on the internet. It's on lots of
he was a real street fighter in his day as a fighter, but he has come out as sort of a rather charming chap. And in Crocodile Dundee 2, there is a scene in which he meets Crocodile Dundee's son in a park in New York. and they have a little chat. And Crocodile Dundee goes up to him, and it's obvious he doesn't know who he's talking to, and so he gives him a little bit of bottling advice. It's a nice little scene. Actually, Crocodile Dundee too was on the television.
I've never seen Crocodile Dundee. I've never watched either.
Well, the first
Is it a
one,
good film?
the second one stretches it a bit. But the first one is, it is a lovely tale of a lady who does top stories in a New York newspaper, and she finds out about this man in northern Australia who apparently wrestled and beat a man-eating crocodile. So she's sent out on assignment to interview him. And of course, the people in northern Australia are all taking the pee out of anybody who found this unusual, because he wrestles crocodiles all day. Anyway, she turns up, but
Imagine
eventually
that being your actual job, a professional crocodile wrestler.
Yeah, indeed. Well, I mean, he seemed to know what he was doing. But anyway, she does the story, and then she's so enamored of him, she says, "Come back to New York." So you get half the movie in Australia with wrestling crocodiles, and the other half in New York, where he comes to grips with a different society totally. And there are many amusing scenes in it. Before eventually, of course, is he and the lady reporter fall in love. Ooh, a romantic ending. And why not? A little romance in our lives is well worthwhile, isn't it? And what sort of romance are we up to here? We are at 10:42. And I said we would probably end a little early today, because Jane has confirmed that even though on our monitor the picture is fairly clear, that it is still poor, and Max needs a little bit of time to try and play around with it and to follow it up and see if he can fix it, because Mirror television is a very funny mix. You won't find anything like it elsewhere in the world. But what we have had is some really good people in the studio and really good time. Only to find that the picture wasn't that hot. So we're addressing it, and hopefully today will be D-Day. I know that we've got, well, we won't mention her name, will we? But a very fierce lady who is our mentor. When she lets rip, believe me, everybody should duck. So it's not right soon. We're all going to have to duck or lose our heads. All right, Max, anything else to add at 10:43 that would take us through to 10:45?
No, I think we've gone through most of the stories today. It's been quite nice. Yeah, it's been nice.
Okay. Everything okay? All right. Well, what we'll do is we will find our. I'm going to play the long one, I think, today, to see us out. We will be back tomorrow, and hopefully the picture will be better. On a Friday, we tend to sort of relax and see what comes. But we are quite prepared to see you. If you're walking past the White Hart in Lewes, if you're coming in for a cup of coffee, or dare I say it, a little draught of beer, you will see us in the bar to the left. And we believe that we are able to reflect not only the life in Lewes, but the life in the UK, from the characters that we meet and we're able to bring in here and have a chat to. And we are looking at some of the programs that we've made way back. Now, we're going to take a break from August the 9th, if we say something like that, to literally the 1st of September. We're going to take a two-week break in August so that we can actually bring some of the things that we've developed over this. We only started this in August, in April. So we need to get some of the things that we've done that are good onto the list, and some of the things that we've done bad out of sight. You were going to say?
We'll be back just in time for the new Prime Minister.
Yes, we will. What a good point. We're back in time for the new Prime Minister. We are going to do a live version, we hope anyway, of the raft race. We will be doing, hopefully, an outside broadcast for the first week in August from the precinct. We did it last year, and it was very successful. So do keep an eye open and come and say hello to us. And we've got one or two other things that are lined up, ready to do, that are exciting and we need being told about in this part of the world. And for that matter, we are local, but we are not parochial. We believe that the things that we do here in Lewes, if reflected properly, can send a message to the rest of the world, or at least get into the debate of what are we all about as a human race? What are we all about as a modern society? Because I think to some extent we've lost our way. And one way to get back is by talking. And that you can get plenty of on Mirador. But also we throw in nice little bits and pieces. Nice little bits just to carry us on our way. Okay, until tomorrow.
Goodbye.
Goodbye
I'll see you
from
on
him.
Tuesday. I'll be here on Tuesday.
Right.
When I'm next in.
Max is next back in on Tuesday. We will have Suzanne Musho on Monday, as usual. What a delight. On Tuesday, we have Fergus Woods with his tips on wine. On Wednesday, the dreadful duo, Max and Stuart, tangle with words and thoughts and ideals and come out at the other end liking one another, but leaving battle wounds on either. Next Thursday will be much as today. We shall have Jane from the school in Scotland. What's the name of that school? Gordonston. Is it Gordonston? Yes. In Scotland, and we'll find out how her students are doing. And then on Friday we get around to the mix of what the hell's going on in the week. That more or less is what we know we're going to do. And tomorrow we haven't a clue. But join us, because when we haven't a clue, quite often we turn out to be ready for our finest programs. Till tomorrow, toodle pip.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
It's going to take ages now.
Bye, goodbye, yes. It is. Oh, it didn't click. Oh, it did. I didn't open it. Still didn't.
You did. It's just taken ages.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.